there's this book coming out. Now, without the book, The Truth Would Be Good, or now we're in like 400 years when you we won't probably live to see 400 years at the state of the famine period that's approaching. You don't even have rivers at the moment. But now we're when there's like blood for water and donkey balls, babies everywhere, and there's no food. And you're going to wonder why, and then you're going to need these oblations. Soup and gospel truth. There's a funny episode in Father Ted where it's called The Golden Cleric. It's very relative to like religion, Father Ted, on a greater scale. You can't see it though, it's so oblivious and ephemeral, but it's there, just like church, it's there, but you don't see it. And in The Golden Cleric ward, Father Crilly gets up and he's like, "Oh, we see some people here we like to see, we see a lot of people here we don't like to see. Where were they?" And he goes through this massive, big, long list of naysayers and scoffers and abusers. This is funny because this happened a few times back before. This is probably what Rome did at some stage to fix all the donkey balls. They needed the gospel truth on the matter. Now you've got like the gospel truth on the matter in the story of Jesus, and you get smacked around in Caiaphas' house. They might have recorded that. But you don't know the extent of what he actually suffered. Or not suffered, but you will know about his suffering. This is why when you walk into a church, the first thing you see is a wax image of Jesus nailed to a crucifix. And it's not scary to kids, despite the fact that they're seeing a man nailed to a piece of wood. You're basically and immediately respecting his suffering or what he went through, in just very quickly getting that out of the way. So it's very respectful. It's easier for Jesus to work for you if you appreciate the truth and what he went through to help you. So you're basically walking like, "Wow, your torment, sir. Your torment, wow." And then you learn the truth and you learn some of his teachings. That's what happens in church. And you just recreate or reenact some of his teachings, his miracles. They were miraculous teachings. So yeah, there's a truth coming out, and like in the Golden Cleric Award, no, you don't have in the Gospel who called him certain names. You don't have a detailed list of which names and which people and which families whipped him or stabbed him or punched him. The Vatican know who these people are, very much so. They can know anyone. A lot of the Bible is written in, so what people say proxy, in cover-up names. The whole lot of the Bible is written in cover-up names. But they know who smacked him around or who bullied him. Now, like in the Golden Cleric Awards, this happened because they had to read off a massive, big, long list of motherfuckers, excuse me, but people did probably rape and murder a lot of his family and fuck his family. Scarlet infidels, traitors, abusers. Zebedee, kind of hunted him and stalked him and stuff like this. They all had to be recognised. And everybody had to know who they were and their family names. And they probably all ran away, you know what I mean? And a lot of them probably got mixed up. So, he didn't compare to Jesus anyway. They killed him probably through the perfection of the event of the revelation. I had the Gospels and a lot of Torah knowledge, so like I could skip ahead, and I was very careful. And I survived for 8 years. With 8 years of abuse and torment that I suffered. It's just weird, serpent-headed. I don't know why they get so excited and start attacking me and wanting to harm me and poison me. They have successfully or sufficiently murdered me 14 times. As in, the things they did to me, they did to anybody else. You would be dead 14 times over. So you hear like of Illuminati killing people, but poisoning on the inside and poisoning their bowels, and black tars and carcinogenic substances. That all happened to me. And if it's not still in my body has processed it and got rid of it because I don't die. I still suffered these poisonings. I suffered strokes and heart attacks and all of these it's usually bowels, but they can affect your liver, kidneys and all. They can make them inflate to the point where they explode, and it just looks like you had a ruptured liver or ruptured kidneys. Different things like violence in the temple causes a lot of kidney pain and stuff. But so I don't die. But all of their attempts are going to have to be revealed. So there's 8 years of this really horrible gospel truth that's going to be coming out in the future. Maybe call it his torment or something. I don't know what you want to call it. Gospel, it's like gospel Thomasy kind of thing. Or and every single asshole. And just not you only care. You are adulterous and you only care what other people think. I don't care what people think at all. I kind of care what God thinks. That's about it. Or my mother, I say to respect your mother and your father. I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about me. That's what gayness is, when you don't give a fuck what other people think about you. You don't limit your life and your freedoms to the stupid people, stupid fascist, bigot-minded people around you. That's when you get this relieving gayness about your life, and you don't live like a coward. I have no memory, sorry, I have no rivers as well. I have no memory, you have no rivers. Mem, you speak some Hebrew? Where'd your Poe go, Francis? So, yeah, Francis is scarlet, so he's going to be in this gospel, kind of like a Herod or something like that, because he's fornicated with my wife and children and my mother. He's scarlet, you know. So you don't know about, oh yeah, you only care about what other people think about you. So it's just saying you don't really care or consider what God thinks. This is the essence of adultery, and you don't care what God thinks. You're atheist in some sort of way. They shall not commit to this. So yeah, the gospel truth like is important to use to save your balls. Jews get the truth, you know. But on top of this, it's known that any way you treat me or treat these people is how you're treated eternally. I think I've already said this in a video. So if you punched him in his face in Caiaphas' house, you'll be punched in your face for eternity, and you won't sustain basically by being punched in the face eternally. You'll die very shortly. You'll die in like a day or two, maybe a week or two. So you'll suffer this for eternity. If you deliver him, say, like you give him shoes and you deliver him, and you set straight his path, then you'll have your path set straight. If for some childish, proud, arrogant, greedy, silly, childish reason you hunt me, bother me, stalk me, abuse me, frame me all the time, they're framing me. It's predicted they tried to crucify me, kill me, butcher me with the name of a silly, poxy, date rape, kitty fucking date rapist from some Scottish fucking inbred. But anyway, they keep switching my name to his all the time. That's why they tried that, because it's hard to kill a good person, really. And they tried to kill me with a crap person's name then, as if they could adulterously conceal me from God and kill me with a horrible murder, twisted, militant, rapist guy. And he's got a job, like he's working with the Dutch and the Swiss and even the Vatican, because he's earning all my orreries and he looks really impressive. And this has happened for 8 years. Other people are looking really impressive and celibate and sainted and genius intelligent. And I just can't believe it. It's like, have you not met these people? Like these stupid, poxy fucking military, these dopey fucking gypsies. The Swiss and the Dutch and the French and Eurotrash and everyone think that they're somehow sainted, celibate and intelligent and pious and appreciate poverty. The essence of poverty isn't... I just can't believe it. But anyway, so he's to be harmed in this way for eternity. So, you know, yeah, it's very simple. And, you know, like if... yeah, you know... If you gave me a hoodie, you'll have a hoodie. It'll be a hell period you have to go through. It's like, even I assume Jesus spent 3 days and 3 nights there, and he fought piranhas. In ancient Egypt, they sailed down a river. They must have had a way where they made plain sailing for their guy at some point. An ancient pharaoh, they made plain sailing for him, so they got plain sailing. In the afterlife, they practically sailed down where everybody else was going through some barbaric land of torment and stuff. Things you probably have coming to them. So you have, you know, you had protectors all the way through the ages that could guide you through and see you through, like Virgil and probably Jesus or some of the apostles will see you through. Depending on how much you preserved or delivered Jesus or maintained Jesus, you'll be maintained. So yeah, it's what you do will be done unto you. So the gospel truth, as much as you vainly care about what other people think about you, must be delivered to save your balls and your kids and your sperm and your famine and everything. The gospel truth, that's why it's an oblation, sending gospels and soup to people to fix it all. So you can do it now before you make a big mess, or you can make a big mess. And, you know, I know I won't die until 120. We've already made a big mess. 120 million people hear my somewhat full and direct testimony. They need to know it's coming from me, because you're taking my teachings all the time and you're spreading them around. And it's more problematic. It's more work to do in the future, correcting all these credits and things that were due. I don't care for credit, but it is important in this picture, so it is important that proper credit is due. Like North Korea give good credit to their peoples when that's due, and it's not a big problem. There's one more thing. Yeah, I've already said this last when I realised this. So I was like, finally I've got some comedy, and finally I've got some justice in my life. That is written on the sperm of your children, with the things you call me. So say you wouldn't accept me, and you wouldn't work, or you wouldn't, you just wouldn't work, and you wouldn't accept, you wouldn't receive Ra, you wouldn't receive Ra, and you'd Potiphar, and you wouldn't receive Ra. And for any reason, like you call me anything, a puff, a queer, a ponce, a stupid little whatever, that's written on the heads of all your sperm. So you fail to give me the opportunity, so you'll have to give some like retarded queer baby the opportunities you fail to give me, and you need to love them in the way that you fail to love me, because God loves me, and you can't through spite or envy. So if you could like or love me, you'd have something in common with God, wouldn't you? But you don't, and you put yourself at odds with God. They tell silly people to call me a trouble just because it's functional and has an effect. You're just basically rejecting me by saying you're the trouble or something. So I'm not trouble for like being a saint, multi-sainted, or celibate, or a genius. You're not going to hold me guilty or a trouble for being trying really hard to be ubermensch or a good person. Tried very, very hard in my life. A lot of hermitage and isolation and study and self-refinement and overcoming idiocy. It took a long time, and you just stole it all from me. So yeah, you're going to be robbed for eternity. I suppose just we're on this metaphysical tone thing, just making these idiots, like, I just had to teach them to the point where they realise and stop abusing me, because I don't fight back. So I just teach and teach and teach. They're more accountable with respect to the understanding that they have. So they'll be greatly punished if they know about it and don't change their ways. Eye of a needle. Jesus said you won't see how it's very rare, very, very rare events like getting through the eye of a needle that you'll get into heaven. And I can easily I can just qualify this condition. It's to do with necessary knowledges and unnecessary knowledges. So, for example, even knowing your mother's birthday or your wife's birthday, now this is understandably necessary in a way to you. Knowing your best mate's PIN code or something like this is not necessary to you, or where your friend or something like this. So there's a lot of people out there that work in information, isn't there? Sinn Féin and IRA and the scummy republic that I live in. And they just want to know and know, and Gardaí, they just want to know and know and know as much as possible about everybody, as much as they physically can. They will never, it might please you to know that they will never, ever go to heaven. Ever get through the eye of a needle, knowing stuff about other people. That's all about the knowledge in this realm, baby. It's all about the knowledge. And if you have unnecessary knowledges to your life and your existence and your progressions and things, just about however you want, you might get, I don't know, you won't quit, but you might not. You won't get through the needle with. So, if, like, Rockefellers have packages full of this kind of stuff, and they're showing up at the eye of the needle, and you need to be very stripped down. You have nothing but what you on yourself, and you can go on through. Otherwise, you got a lot of luggage there, and you're like, sorry, you're not getting through here with all of that. So yeah, now you know about that. So I advise you like to mind your own business in life, really. It's only adulterous, really, and you end up like courts and stupid judges and Gardaí and all of that from being atheist. I reckon crime wouldn't happen if we were all a little more tolerable, believing. So yeah, that's my humble little attempt to educate all the horrible people that are tormenting my family, the family of Israel, the red stripes on the American flag. There's nothing